Welcome guys to 2D Talk's Real Movie News. I'm Jayse and this is your weekly show from 2D Talk where we let you know what's happening in the entertainment world, what stars are making waves, what movies are in production and what movies are on the horizon. Also, I let you know what films are flying or faltering both financially and statistically in the box office dive. So let's start with that. So last weekend, Rampage barely made it into the #1 spot over A Quiet Place, both in the States and here in the UK. But this week, the surprise smash hit of 2 weeks ago, A Quiet Place, is back in the #1 spot and can continue to bask in the splendor of its box office, as it had one of the lowest drops in the chart with just 33%, taking in $22 million. And in just 3 short weeks, the $17 million picture has earned $132.3 million domestic, achieving what its predecessors could not in the same space of time. And by next week, it will no doubt beat all of the installments of the Conjuring franchise and split. Worldwide, its gross is up to $207 million. Overwhelmingly positive word of mouth has this movie dominating at the box office for now. The movie is also Paramount's highest grossing movie since 2016's Star Trek Into Darkness, and it has surpassed last year's Transformers The Last Night. The UK is leading the charge in its box office, bringing in $11.7 million. It still has to open in China, France and Japan, and that will be happening in May. Rampage fell a respectable 41% in its second weekend, bringing in $21 million. Its domestic total is up to $66 million, and worldwide it's $283 million. In China, it crossed the century mark, and Britain is helping it out with a handsome $9.1 million. The movie also is set for release in France, Germany and Japan very soon. Newcomers I Feel Pretty and Super Troopers 2 battled it out for the number 3 and 4 positions, but in the end, I Feel Pretty nabbed 3rd place, bringing in more than expected at $16.2 million. It should be noted that Schumer's negative public persona may have tarnished her box office cume, as this is the lowest opening for a movie she has headlined. I Feel Pretty is set for release here in the UK May 4th. Truth or Dare fell 58% in its second weekend, bringing in $7.9 million, even though it received abysmal reviews, scoring 15% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 17% audience score on the site. 60% of the audience were under the age of 25 and 34% of that number were female. Its worldwide total is at $38.2 million off of a $3.5 million budget. Blumhouse does it again. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm guessing from reactions it's not the same quality as Blumhouse's Happy Death Day. Black Panther remains in the top 10 at number 8, dropping only 20% in its 10th weekend, bringing in another $4.6 million, and it is likely to still be there once Infinity War comes out in just a few short days. And it may also see a rise in ticket sales once it has been released. Its domestic number is $681 million and it's worldwide at $1.323 billion. There is talk of a double feature. I mean, I would love to go and see Black Panther and then immediately go into seeing Infinity War. Isle of Dogs took its first drop of 38% since its slow rollout began on March 23rd, taking in $3.4 million. The slow rollout strategy seems to be doing the trick for the latest Wes Anderson movie. Meanwhile, here in the UK, The Greatest Showman fell 6% last weekend. The numbers for this weekend aren't in yet for the UK, but I can say that it remains at number 6 in our charts after 16 weeks, and we have participated nearly more than triple the gross of any other country outside of the US. But all of this will change dramatically as the heavy hitter that is Avengers Infinity War is coming, and its marketing went into high gear last week with TV spots up the wazoo. So much so that I've been avoiding them. I am still a new YouTuber and I have an aversion to seeing too much. I have a very special Avengers video coming up later this week, which will give you some background on the Infinity Stones and all the goings on to get you ready for the movie, so look out for that. That's it from the box office dive. Come back next week to see if Infinity War can top The Force Awakens for the biggest opening of all time. Our first story of the day is Masters of the Universe gets new directors again. The long in development Master of the Universe over at Sony has had some new and completely unknown directors at the helm for the much delayed movie. The story has gone through many directors and writers over the years since the 1987 sci-fi action film. Directors such as John M. Chow, McGee, and David S. Goyer. Goyer is the most recent to have left the project due to scheduling conflicts, and this has made room for Adam and Aaron Nee, new directors in Hollywood who are most known for their short indie films, but are now stepping up to the big leagues, at least for now. The Nee brothers' latest directorial credits are for the 2015 movie Band of Robbers, based on Mark Twain's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which star Carl Gallner, Supergirl's Melissa Benoist, and Stephen Lang. It scored 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the small audience that did see it scored it handsomely. Goyer is set to executive produce, with Sony saying that he will have a heavy influence on the development, with the latest draft of the film being written by him. While initially, when I heard the news that Sony would be developing the movie, I was skeptical. But their track record for 2017 has been one of their best in recent years, with Spider-Man Homecoming, Baby Driver, and Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle all winning big at the box office. Now let me be honest with you guys, I am a massive fan of the 1987 movie, having grown up with it while I was a kid. Even though the movie was critically panned and only made $17 million out of a $22 million budget, it's a guilty pleasure of mine, and any other fans out there can relate to my feeling on seeing Skeletor rise from the waters at the end of the movie and say, "I'll be back," and then waiting and waiting and slowly giving up hope of him ever making good on that promise. I was also a massive fan of the early 80s cartoon series, and an even bigger fan of the spin-off series She-Ra. This big move by Sony shows confidence in the Nee brothers, and has become increasingly common in big blockbusters, with directors like Colin Trevorrow and Josh Trank moving from zero-budget darlings to mega-budget tentpoles in short order. The movie is slated for a December 18th, 2019 release, so they need to get the ball rolling immediately, as it's going to be an expensive and lengthy endeavour. They were meant to start filming this very month, but without a cast, I doubt that's ever going to happen. The 1987 movie's budget was so low that as a result they had to create a new character to add into the roster, Gwildor, to replace at the time the financially impossible para-dimensional magician Orca. My hope is that the movie is a hit, so that we can get possible franchises that can lead up to She-Ra herself making an appearance. But what do you think about the latest developments of the movie? And with Star Wars Episode 9, Wicked, and an untitled Blumhouse movie set for release around the same time, will it be able to make a dent in the box office? Let us know in the comments below. And our final story of this week, Cassie Lang ages up for Avengers 4? Emma Furman has reportedly been cast as Cassie Lang, daughter of Paul Rudd's Scott Lang, our current Ant-Man, for Avengers 4. Now this is big news that gives further speculation to the theory that Avengers Infinity War and the fourth Avengers movie will deal with time travel or alternate dimensions, as Cassie Lang in our current timeline is only 10 years old and is set to appear in July's Ant-Man and the Wasp, whereas Furman is 16 and will be 17 by the time Avengers 4 comes out. Now Cassie Lang has size manipulation powers similar to that of her father, and her involvement in the movie may herald the emergence of the young Avengers, as Wiccan and Speed and even Patriot have all been rumoured as comic book characters that could come to the big screen. Obviously we don't have long to wait to have any of those questions answered, so keep tuned for that. In other MCU news, Fandango tweeted that Infinity War has outsold pre-ticket sales for the last 7 Avengers movies combined. Yeah, combined. Those films include Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Doctor Strange, Captain America Civil War, and Ant-Man. This is huge. As I said a couple of weeks ago, the estimated box office for this movie will rise as the movie draws closer, and is also reported to be selling more than double the tickets that Black Panther did at the same time in its sales cycle. Fandango managing editor Eric Davis said, "Infinity War has built up such unprecedented anticipation that it's pacing to break records, the likes of which we have never seen before in a superhero movie. Moviegoers are rushing out to guarantee seats in advance of what is sure to be the most talked about movie of the decade." Now, only 7 other films in history have topped $175 million in their debut openings, and only 5 have hit the $200 million mark. And based on their current track record, all of the third installments in the MCU have done the best. Iron Man 3, Captain America Civil War, Thor Ragnarok. So will the third Avengers movie follow the same trend? What do you guys think about this juggernaut movie and its opening? Please comment below and let me know. So that's it from 2D Talk's Real Movie News. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Don't forget to find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and newly Pinterest. Until next week guys, see you later and you take care of yourselves. Bye bye.